Yo, what's up guys? This is Alex Rome, and today I'm going to show you 3 steps to making huge fat chords like all the big artists everywhere. Said the Sky, Illenium, Petit Biscuit, whoever this kid is. I just searched future bass artists on Google and I took whatever, this guy. But Seven Lions, Illenium, Martin Garrix uses big chords in some of his songs. Various future bass artists use big fat chords in their songs, and so I'm going to show you how to make them. Specifically, we're going to be working in this project here. This is a song that I'm writing, but I made a new project and just chopped the drop out, and I'm going to show you how to make chords that sound like this. And without the lead, this is the lead from my new song. I don't like teasing songs on this channel, but this is all just to help you guys. So I'm going to mute the lead so we can hear the chords. And to show you how versatile nice chords like this are, I just took this vocal chop off of Splice. You could throw vocal chops as the lead. You could throw synth lead as the lead. You can do anything you want. So we're going to learn how to make those chords. Now here's the interesting thing about those chords, this chord sound. This video idea was recommended directly from you guys. I hosted a survey in last video, and the good news is this survey is still available at alexromesound.com, where you can just go to alexromesound.com and click take survey. And if you guys could fill this out for me, if you haven't filled it out yet, it would really help me out with building excellent content directly for you guys. So I'm taking recommendations from you and making exactly the content that you guys want. So if you could go to alexromesound.com, click on take survey, fill this out, it would really help me out with building excellent products and content for you guys, so we can really, skyrocket your skills as effectively as possible. So yeah, go take that survey, and I'm taking all my video recommendations straight from that survey. So one of the questions that one of you had, or a bunch of you had issues with, was making chords that sound really big, rich, and full. And so I'm going to show you how to do that in 3 steps. So let's go ahead and get started. You know what we're going for. I just played it for you. So let's go with step 1. You're going to want a good foundation. Here's the crazy part about getting fat chords like you hear in all your favorite songs. It's not the chords, it's not just the chords that's impressing you. It's strong drums, a clean sub bass, good options for good leads. So you just heard a couple decent lead layers that made those chords sound really rich and full, because alone the chords are just kind of boring. So options for good leads, like what I'd like to do is I like to write 20 different lead options, pick the best one, and then you will land on a really good lead if you do that. If you write just a single lead line and you bet your life on that single lead line that's the best lead you could come up with, you're probably wrong. So I like to have options for good lead ideas, and that will help enhance your chord sound. And then you're going to want a decent effects group. So let's go ahead, hop into this project and take a look at the drums, clean sub bass, and good lead options, which I kind of already showed you the leads, and the decent effects group. So before you even make your chords, I would recommend you get all of this stuff done first, especially the lead. The lead's going to be the most important one, because if you do your chords and then you do your lead and your lead ends up sounding like shit, your chords are going to not sound good. The chords have to follow everything. And that's another thing. The chords have to follow the kick and the bass. If your chords are doing something different than the kick and the bass, they're going to sound loose. They're not going to get that nice tight sound. So let's go ahead. We're going to mute everything besides the kick and the bass. And we also have some atmospheric sounds. I'm going to mute that. So that's what we're working with in terms of drums and bass. But wait, I want to mute that guy. So yeah, for a bass line, we're working with this, just a regular thick bass line, but you're gonna want that sub bass that really rings in the right area. So a lot of you guys who were answering that survey, you said you wanted to know like how you can make a full bass sound. Well, one of the ways you make your bass full is you get all the other instruments out of the way of the bass, so you low cut everything. But also make sure your bass line is ringing in the right area. So when I make a sub bass, I want it to be sitting nice and strong between 50 and 100 hertz. And just to show you guys what I'm using for a sub bass, I'm just using a one oscillator with a sine wave on it, and that's all I'm using. Sine wave with a little bit of tube distortion with these settings. And so this sub bass sounds like that. It's a super strong, super pure sub bass. And let's see where this sub bass sits. It should come in right in between 50 and 100 hertz. So this one's a little low, but it still sounds good, so I kept that note there. But on average, every note is going to be in between 50 and 100 hertz. If it goes below 50 hertz, that's okay. But once you get to like 30 hertz or 25 hertz, your sub bass isn't going to sound good. It's not going to be moving fast enough, and you're not even going to hear it. It's just going to create mud. So you're going to want a strong sub bass line just like that, and you're going to want it communicating nicely with your kick and your snare, which are mega important for making your chords sound good. Because if you have these dinky little drums, your chords aren't going to sound big and rich. They're just going to sound like they're overpowering your drums. Everything needs to be on the same page here. I was really trying to overkill my snare, so you don't need a snare. You don't need a snare that big. I was taking inspiration from a few tracks with massive snares. I still am not 100% sure I'm going to stick with that snare for the final draft of this song. But that's what I got. It kind of overpowers the kick slightly, and that's annoying to me. But anyway, that's not what matters. What matters is that the kick is strong and the snare is strong. They're so strong that I don't even need a hi-hat or anything. I can use the thrust from the chords and the bass to move that energy forward. And so obviously with sidechaining, we get our bass. And you're hearing another layer of bass. This one's not like, you don't need this, but you could use it. This is just like that 200 hertz range bass. That one's not like, you don't totally need that bass layer. But let me go back to this. Let's see, clean, good options for leads and decent effects group. So the effects I'm not really going to talk about until we get to step 3, which is enhancing your chords. So let's go to step 2 now, because I just talked about all of these things that you need. And step 2 would be design the chords and the other layer options. So I'm going to show you how to design some good chords. The good thing about these is they're really, really easy to make. They're so easy to make that it's kind of scary. Because here's why it's scary. Because you like make the chords in like 2 seconds and you're like, well, why doesn't it sound good? It's because these chords are so reliant on other sounds. It's not the chords that sound crazy. Trust me, it's the other things that you're not paying attention to that are making these chords sound really nice. like the bass and the kick especially. So let's go ahead. Why is this turning off on me? I'm not gonna fight it. I'm just gonna redo it right here. So let's get rid of that. So we have our bass and our kick. And once we have those, we can start designing our chords. So let's go ahead and design nice Supersaw chords. And Supersaw chords are exactly that, Supersaws. So I like to use the MB saw. You can stuff this all the way up if you have good CPU. I like to save CPU, so I'm not going to stuff it up. And I like these to be thick as they could be at least. So I'm going to use 2 oscillators with some unison. And then work the detune until you get a sound that you like. And there you go, you got your chords. Now here's what's interesting about the chords. It's like right now they sound boring and dull because there's no movement. You have to keep these chords moving. This is so important. I hear this done wrong all of the time. People throw their chords on top of their kick and their bass, and they're like, well, why doesn't it sound good? Well, it's because a lot of the times there's not enough movement going on. You have to move them around because that's how you can show how big a sound is. When you move it around, if you have a filter on it that opens and closes every couple of bars, or a filter that wobbles every couple of bars, that's how you can make a set of chords interesting and fun to listen to. If you keep them open like this, there's no way that you're going to perceive your audience that they're big, because they're just loud and in your face. You make things sound big sometimes by making them open to show how big they are, and then close them up or wobble them or something so you can hear the blank space behind them. It's like a weird science that I'm obsessed with. So let's go sidechain these. I sidechain with this compressor. It's the Fab Filter Compressor. It's super strong with sidechaining. Yeah, it works a lot harder than the Logic compressor when it comes to sidechaining. Logic's compressor, if it works too hard, it starts distorting, and that'll slow down your rhythm, or at least the sound of it. Where the hell? Does anybody here see the word sidechain? There we go. Sidechaining. Spelled it wrong. All right, let's go ahead and set this up to sidechain to our kick and our snare. If I can sidechain to the kick and the snare, then I'm going to get twice the amount of movement than if I were just sidechaining to the kick, right? So if I just sidechain to the kick, it's going to be boring every time the snare hits. So I'm going to just keep these moving as much as possible. Just like that. And now these are sidechaining to the kick, and I'm going to lighten up the super high frequencies really quick. Whoops. I don't want to do it if I have automation on there. It's not going to sound good. So I basically like to take the super highs off. So now we've designed our chords. They sound like this. But they're still a little dull. They're still a little boring. So now what we need to do is we need to create a really cool set. We have to enhance them basically. So if we come back to our PowerPoint here, we go to step 3. It's enhance the chords with other layers like white noises, dronal sounds, other stuff, Atmos in the background, nice leads. It's important to get the lead right. If you're just going all chord and no lead, it's going to be a little harder for you to keep everything interesting. It's possible, but it's just going to be harder. Leads cover up a lot. Like, leads help move a song forward. So if you're making the chords the leads, it's going to be a bigger challenge for you. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you some white noise and drone options that I threw on my other chords. So let's mute the chords we just made, because I have these chords already made here and they already have nice automation on them. So if we just solo these, we can hear all the movement from all the automation that I've done. That wobbling you're hearing there is Shaperbox right here. It's not smooth yet, but it's a really cool thing. Anyway, I coupled these chords with a white noise layer that follows the chords. White noise is so mega important. White noise is what enhances the chords. It brings them out front. This is everything. White noise layer is everything. Without this, your chords sound really boring. Like that. That's crazy awesome. So now your chords are like blaring as loud as they can go. But I like to go a step farther with the chords, add some character with interesting dronal sounds like this sound here. It just adds noise. It adds adds richness. It's awesome. And then I went a step farther and I added these sounds. These are vocals. I got that idea from some song that I heard on No Copyright Sounds. I think it's called Pill by somebody. So let's go. Let's hear the chords with all this noise. And right there, like, listen how rich they are, and those chords are blaring and they're ready to sit with your kick and your bass. And then we open up our lead and it just makes the chords sound even better. Alright, not going to play that too much because I want you guys to hear the song and actually be excited. And there you go, guys. That's how you can make your chords really big. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you were able to learn something. If you were able to learn something, go ahead, pass this video on to your friends. Show all of your friends. Get everybody to watch Alex roam. I really, really appreciate this. Like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment. Go take the survey so I know what content to do in the future. Really appreciate that, guys. I love you. Peace out.